Hi guys, I'm going to try and keep it short. I'm going to upload the full version online, so you can all have a read of it there. It goes on for pages. Good evening. Before I became, I have to read it, you've seen that all year. Before I became a sabbatical officer, I was in an unusual position. According to my housemates and non-guildy friends, I was guilty. But to those people inside the guild, most wouldn't even know who I was. And as such, when I first stood to be a candidate in the Vice President Housing and Community elections, I did so because I wanted to represent normal students. Not the ones who get involved in guild activities, but those students who are being ignored and mistreated by letting agencies, companies and the council without even knowing until it is too late. And as such, today I'm not saying goodbye to this room and this meeting. I am saying goodbye to those people out there. In Selly Oak, Harborne, the wider city, in halls, all those people. Those students who are out there enjoying their Wednesday evening doing something that it's a bit more important and productive than Guild Council. This year I work for students and I just want to run through some highlights, achievements and ego trip. 12 months ago, next Monday, I embarked on the best, most exciting, terrifying and upsetting year of my life. It's been one hell of a roller coaster. I have been at my most happiest through some of the achievements I've made or wins for students that I've been a part of. But I've also experienced some of my lowest moments. Unfortunately, these have tended to be a result of activity in this chamber. I've been centric 5 times in one Guild Council. Those early days are both exciting but scary. You start to probably get to know the rest of the officer team, as well as the Guild staff, and you cannot wait to get stuck into making a difference for students, normal ones. But at the same time, you are given so much information, such as media, training, charity law, budgets, finances, all that kind of stuff, it can be very intimidating. But once you're settled in, we started to make a difference, and here's some of those highlights. I brought to the table the idea of a 1,200 person fresher winter ball. In doing so, I angered 84 RAs and learnt a lot of lessons about how to work with people to achieve aims. And in the end, we held what I believe, and still believe, to be a very successful ball at the ICC. Hopefully this idea can now be built on for years to come. No, Dave? No? No? Okay. I introduced, yes, me, I suppose there were a few officers before me, I introduced 1,200 wheelie bins to Selly Oak. And I have talked about them to anyone who would listen, from students to the media, from guild staff all the way to the big man himself, the Vice-Chancellor of this university. Everyone knows about those beautiful bins. Yes, there are still a few issues, but if you walk through Selly on a Wednesday, you can see that it has made the world a difference. Working alongside the new Selly Oak Constituency Inspector, we have built up even closer relationships with our local neighbourhood policing teams, and have seen some of the lowest crime figures Bournemouth has experienced in years. Yes. I'm taking credit. Being a SAB is also more than just our portfolios. As a SAB, I have sat on numerous interview panels from student staff in SHAC to middle managers all the way up to the chair of the trustee board. I don't think I will get to interview someone at such senior levels like those for many years to come. These are experiences that hopefully I will take with me to ensure that I am successful in my own job interviews. Another aspect you don't really think about when you run to be an officer is that of supporting students with appeals and plagiarism interviews. I've also had the opportunity to step in for student reps on prima facie panels. Some of these meetings have been very enlightening experiences for me. Most students, and me included, just don't realise some of the things that some students battle against every day in order to get their degrees. I understand my privilege and some of those meetings hurt. This year, we worked with the university to carry out a full-scale independent review of the RA scheme, to attempt to make the necessary changes to solve some of the concerns that have been raised by students and stakeholders alike over the past few years. Watch this space. Sorry, can't do anymore. Additionally, myself and the President achieved a fantastic win for students by negotiating with HAS for a real terms decrease in accommodation fees for next academic year. And we also made further headway in the long-term plan to better spread the available accommodation across the full spectrum of price points. I changed the key message of this year's housing campaign. We moved away from not rushing towards a focus on informing students of all the information they need to house hunt effectively and do it right, no matter when they start their search. Furthermore, this year we ran a survey, a chance for students to finally give us feedback about their landlords and agencies. Hopefully the results can be used by Dave next year to further enhance next year's campaign and target troublesome agencies. Most recently, I have been working with the university to enhance the relationship between the SHAC and living to further advance the university and guild impact on the local rented sector for many years to come. So that's my year in a rapid whirlwind nutshell. Despite everything, I've enjoyed every single minute. I have learned all sorts of things and experienced things that in other jobs could take years to enjoy. And most importantly, hopefully I've improved the lives for every student studying at the University of Birmingham. You're all welcome. But finally, a few thank yous. I want to thank you, the students of the University of Birmingham. It has been a pleasure to represent you. to all sorts of bodies, the university, the city council, and random companies who are desperate to get hold of students. I want to thank those students to whom I've been lucky enough to meet, whether it was a one-off encounter during Welcome Week, or a more prolonged interaction through involvement in one of my projects, or through the Guild as a whole. I want to thank the RAs, both current and old. Wait, you get your moment. Starting at the beginning, thank you to the QHC RA of 2009 for welcoming me to Birmingham and giving me that fantastic introduction to student life. And then to the QHC RA of 2010, to which I was proud to be a part of, and my first election victory that sent me on my way on the road to VP status. To the RAs who I inherited when I came into this role, thank you for throwing me in at the deep end. I made a lot of mistakes in those early days, and your ruthlessness and loyalty towards my predecessor initially broke me down into tiny little pieces. But the lessons I learned as I built myself back up, hopefully I will take these with me into all my future endeavours. And to you, the current RAs, thank you. I will go into more detail tomorrow, but thank you. You have been amazing RAs. You've attended guild councils and stayed to the very end. Look, you're still here and everything else is cleared off. You are absolutely amazing. Thank yous also need to go to my chain of predecessors. He's already been named once. He left 3 years ago. Here's his second mention. Ed Sparks for being VPHC when I was elected to be RA, and the person who made me one day want to be a VPHC myself. To Johnny Kirby, also mentioned already tonight. Despite your horrible choice in football clubs, your passion for the community will not be repeated for many years. And it was this that gave me the passion for the other side of this role. Zuki, thank you for an excellent handout. Hang on. Where's my folder? No? Right, okay. Regardless of the lack of a physical handover folder, the knowledge you gave me, I have taken and used to the benefit of students. And thanks for getting hats to pay for the wheelie bins. One of my biggest thanks goes to guild staff. Students in the room, core, senior management. There are far too many of you to name, so I won't. But know that this thanks is to every single one of you. The VPHC has one of the widest reaching roles, actively interacting with so many departments across this wonderful organisation. Student development, SHAC, the art, mentors, wardens, student voice, venues, marketing and finance. Every single one of you I have to deal with, and you are amazing. Staff are often the forgotten heroes in this building, but to be honest, you are irreplaceable. You are the people that make us 7 look good. Without you, we couldn't do it, so thank you. And to the SAB team. Wow. It's been a good year. We have been through a lot this year, but at every stage we have done it together, on the whole. And even the disagreements have been enjoyable at times. Ollie, the way you throw your weight around is an interesting spectacle to watch. But you seem to get things done, and I've enjoyed listening to you moan about every single thing. Jimmy, you managed to get me to go to parkrun nearly every single week this year, but to be honest, I ain't seeing much difference. This self-living don't work. Simple as that, but thanks for staying. David, we've all made a lot of jokes about your lack of decision making, but to be honest, in that meeting with Brendan, I was very impressed. Seriously was, I spoke to Joe afterwards. Wow. You handled it so well and so professionally, and it was a great win for students. But when you do decide to get off that fence and come and join the right, I'll welcome you in. Simon, although I don't agree with the majority of the tactics, I think I made that clear, to be honest, I really do admire your passion for education. You talk in SOG about all sorts of stuff that I ain't got a Scooby-Doo what you're chatting about. You read everything. I really am envious of your passion. Leander, I spent all afternoon trying to think of something nice to say, and he left, so I'm glad I didn't. And Binifer, best office buddy ever. Ollie took my line, but I wrote it down. You hardly ever shut up. And I long for days when you're on leave. But I would not swap you for anyone. And Katie, which camera's on? Katie, I know you're at home and you're watching. Proof that you can have a relationship throughout your entire SAB team, SAB year. We've only got 5 minutes left, please. You were there during the election, you got me elected. You've been there the whole way through this year. You put up with me not really seeing you much. Thank you. That's all I can say. I love you. So thank you, everyone. Good luck in all your futures, and hopefully some of you will keep in touch. Take care, farewell, so long.